So I wanted to highlight this. This is an actor, Anthony Mackie. And I want to highlight two clips of his. It kind of went viral. And he's talking about today's masculinity. So I want to play it and then I want to get your response.
I keep my boys humble. Like my boys have never had a pair of Jordans. You know, my boys don't do all that internet fly shit. I'm like your kids. And no, I don't give a I could be the biggest star in the world. Do not let me catch you being stupid. Do not. And my oldest gets it. My 15-year-old, he tells the other ones, he's like, yo, don't make dad mad. Because once you get one that's right, he gonna straighten the other ones out. So it's just that thing of, in the past 20 years, we've been living through the death of the American male. They have literally killed masculinity in our homes and our communities, for one reason or another. But I raised my boys to be young men. And however you feel about that, you feel about that. Right. But my boys will always be respectful. They will always say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. No, sir, no, ma'am. They will always say thank you. They will always open the door for a lady. They will always make sure that their mother is taken care and provided for. They will always be men. And that's always since they were 2 years old. Every time I left for a job, I tell my 15-year-old, you're the man of the house. You make sure these doors are locked every night, this alarm is on, you text me or you call me every night before you go to bed and you wake up.
I love that.
Because we're men. If I'm not there to protect, he got to be there to protect. Because you can have all the money in the world, climb through the window, that money means nothing.
Right.
You can have all the celebrity in the world, jump through the door, that celebrity means nothing.
Yeah.
So you got to have a little guard in there, you know? And so for me, it's always that idea of American masculinity is very different.
I want to get your thoughts.
Much respect. I mean, he didn't say anything I disagree with. It's absolutely pathetic what they have attempted to do over the last 50 years to destroy masculinity. And you can't, because that messes up the yin-yang or the yin-yang balance. Humanity doesn't work very well when you do that. You get a bunch of sissified little creeps that are overly emotional. You get dumb lawsuits like this one that are attempting to rely upon emotional mechanisms instead of dealing with being rational, reasonable, logical, analytical, and well thought out and well composed. And you get stuck on stupid. You get roly-poly Martins and chicken George Sharptons, and you get them relying upon emotive stuff and encouraging this lack of masculinity by their deportment, the way they sound, and the issues that they raise. And it just doesn't work that way.
I've been in the business 24 years, right? And I've seen people go from nothing to the biggest stars in the world. I've seen people go from one role to winning Academy Awards and doing all this shit. And what I realized yesterday thinking about it, we're lying to our kids, dog. And I think that's a big problem in our community. We tell our kids that and this is fresh on my heart, like I literally just came to this conclusion last night. We tell our kids if they do right and they make the good grades and they go to the programs and they will become successful. If you work hard enough, your work will be paid off. And that's not true. Success is given. It's not earned. Because you can be the most brilliant. If one person don't tap you, each one of y'all, there were people who could hit harder, who could catch better, who could run faster, but somebody said, you're the one. And the other 50 behind you fell off. You know what I mean? And because of that, I don't know what that emotion or that feeling is the scary thing. Because I went to all the programs. I've done Broadway, I've done off-Broadway. I've been in the business 24 years. I've been in 2 Academy Award films. I've done independent films. I've done major motion pictures. Now I'm Captain America. So now what?
Hold up. Let me...
Sounds like Hollywood. You there?
Yeah.
Sounds like Hollywood. Now, what he says does have an element of truth when it comes to certain fields of endeavor. There's no getting around that. But for the most part, if you want it, you earn it, you make it happen, it happens. Sometimes luck plays a bit of a role in it, but what he's talking about, he's in an industry that depends upon success coming from the grant of favors. And Hollywood is not always about the business of making money. I kind of like this last episode of Captain America, where he's the new black Captain America. That's not really new in the franchise, because back 1972 and 3, Stan Lee, when he was doing Captain America, the old Captain America just resigned. He said he could not continue in that role when there was a president like Richard Milhouse Nixon in office, and he turned it over to Hawkman, so to speak, and Hawkman was a black man. So this is something that's a little bit, well, 50 years late for the genre to catch up with, because Captain America was black. But somebody in Walt Disney Land, Fantasyland, or whatever, decided that it would be advantageous. And I suspect that the ulterior motives for that are because Walt Disney and ABC are running up against a deadline. They have a judgment taken against them from 2011 that's now up in over $1 billion some with the interest accruing, and they have a deadline to deal with interest. So a black Captain America appeals to the black box office patron. In other words, those black folk who did what they did for that horrible franchise, Black Panther, that so insulted black folk. They needed more money to pay off interest to the successful plaintiffs, and they got it.
Right. So when we talk about success, what he's alluding to is people are not working for it. And that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to work and perfect your craft, and then you will achieve success. But like you said, when it comes to Hollywood, they tap you on the shoulder and say you, and then they'll just put you out there, as long as you are pushing their agenda as well, I'm assuming.
Yeah, like Roger King told me before he died, he auditioned 340, 350 women before picking Oprah. And he told me, and this is a direct quote, he said, what I'm looking for, or was looking for, was a poster child for, quote, ugly, female, stay-at-home America, unquote. That's a direct quote from him. He told me that several times. Hey, keep pushing. And some of the advice you heard today with the last speaker, last clip, I agree with, but I don't say it's all a matter of being chosen. Sometimes you can choose yourself.